Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Phi and this is Money Philosophy. Thank you for coming back for another day of Tesla analysis. Today we will continue with our technical analysis in Tesla to understand and project where Tesla pricing will be over the next week, given the fact that Tesla earnings will be announced on October 19 after the market close. I'd love to share with you my thoughts as well as my projection closer to that date, but today we will purely talk technical analysis. If you are new to my channel, please consider subscribing. I am a growth stock investor and a trader, and I'd love to share with you my investing and trading journeys. Without further ado, let's get right into it. So I'm recording after the market already closed. It is currently 3:06 Pacific Standard Time on the 13th of October. And as we can see here, we can see that Tesla head and shoulder has been materializing and the stock has been dropping pretty drastically based on this chart. And so this is the left shoulder, this is the head, and this is the right shoulder. It is reaching the bottom. The first bottom, as I mentioned in the last couple of videos, is around $218. The next strong support would be $182. Fingers crossed that it wouldn't get there before the next earnings, but you'll never know, right? Because right now Tesla's actually at oversold conditions, so the odds would be that it would be reversing to the upside, especially with this particular candle. So today's Thursday, which is the fourth day of the week. It is entirely possible that tomorrow, Friday, if Tesla ends right around 226, that would make this particular candle here a reversal candle for the week, which is very, very good news. But if it could not hold this level right here and it fall down further, then the next support, strong support, would be $182. If you are familiar with my channel, you know I'm a Tesla bull, and every time the stock moves down, in my opinion, it is an opportunity to buy more shares for Tesla. So let's go over to the daily chart. Today's volume was really good. Tesla ended the day at 136% in volume, which is well above the average of the last 30 days. As you can see, the last few days, Tesla's been trading at the oversold condition. It did so also right around the beginning of October. So even the last 10 days has been trading at extreme oversold condition. Today, with this particular candle, daily candle, as you can see here, it is bullish engulfing, which means that it has really, really strong volume and the price action is extremely bullish that engulfed the previous few candles. So that is definitely good news for the bulls. The 50 days SMA right now is at 279 and the 200 days SMA is at 286. Considering that Tesla is at 221, it has roughly $60 to go from here till roughly 280s to get back to these moving averages, which is a very big jump, right? That is roughly 30-some% in bullish reversal, which can be hard to achieve. But I do believe that there is a good opportunity for Tesla to turn bullish and continue bullish throughout the first half of next week because of positive anticipation into earnings. So Tesla earnings will be released on October 19 after the market close. That is next Wednesday. We have tomorrow, the 14th of October, as well as the next 3 days of next week, the 17, 18, and 19. I do believe that with the positive anticipation for earnings, tomorrow and the next few days of next week would be an opportunity for Tesla to run. Now, whether or not it could run up to 30-some% to get back to 50 days SMA, that's a different story. And we're going to have to look at volume and momentum, and we're going to have to take one day at a time. But I do think that the 19 will surprise a lot of people, especially Wall Street analysts, when it comes to margin. Because the last quarterly delivery, Tesla did deliver quite a significant amount of vehicles, despite the fact that it missed analyst estimate. With that amount of delivery and the level of margin that Tesla has been accumulating, I think Tesla is up to report really good chunk of profit this quarter. Back to chart analysis here, I think that The fact that Tesla went through $215 today, the low point of today was 206 and immediately reversed with volume over 130%, predominantly buy volume. As you can see here, the bar here is predominantly green bar. That is fantastic. Let's take a look at the hourly chart just so we can have some perspective on what Tesla did today. So pre-market, Tesla fell pretty drastically. The bottom pivot point was $208 and it hit the bottom pivot point and some. So at the beginning of the day, let's break that down. Let's go to the 15-minute chart. At the beginning of the day, Tesla moved all the way down to 206 within the first 15 minutes. And then it started moving sideways to about 10:45 Eastern Standard Time, start reversing, and then it moved all the way up. Tesla is not different considering the rest of the market was also reversing around 10:45 time frame, and that is usually a very important time frame for reversal. If you notice the market, most reversal occur between 10:30 to 11 o'clock or 7:30 to 8 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. Tesla moved basically today through all three pivot points from the bottom to the middle, consolidate there a little bit, and hit the top pivot points. For tomorrow, the pivot points are at the upper end, $227. The middle pivot point is $216, and the bottom pivot point is $200. I would be very careful, and I wouldn't be too quick to say that tomorrow will be a fantastic day. It is possible that Tesla would move down first thing in the morning before moving back up. But once again, knowing that $200 is a good pivot support for the day, that would be a good point for entry, or anywhere between $208 today's low to $200 is a good point for entry if you'd like to buy Tesla shares. As I mentioned earlier when we were reviewing the weekly chart, if Tesla ends the day at around 226, which is roughly the top pivot points here, the weekly candle would be extremely bullish. Now let's go back to the weekly candle one more time. So this is the weekly candle up to this point. 4 days of this week, the candle has a very long wick at the bottom. That is a bullish hammer. Especially after a few weeks straight of falling. This is a really good news and the potential beginning point for reversal. If tomorrow Tesla ends where it started the week at $226, give or take, and this candle turned green, that is fantastic. Of course, anything above 226 would give us more chance to hope that Tesla would reverse next week. In all honesty, I do not know that Tesla will continue to go back up all the way to 279 here, because keep in mind that usually right after earnings, Tesla could also be moving down. That said, given the fact that Tesla has been moving down pretty drastically together with the rest of the market over the last few weeks, I think it is entirely possible that if Tesla has fantastic news comes Wednesday after the market closes, it could run very bullishly for the next few days after earnings. So keep that in the back of your mind. So the moral to the story is buy more Tesla. In my opinion, I continue to buy more Tesla. I know my average over the last few weeks has not been as low as this week. I wish that I could wait and buy it at 206, but we do not know when the bottom will be. So the only thing we could do is to average down and wait for the time where Tesla reverses. One encouraging things for the market is if you look at the overall volume based on my watch list here, and the daily volume is on this column. There are a lot of stocks with the daily volume over 100%. Amazon, 156%. Apple, 120%. AMD, 153%. You got Delta Airline, 250. Dow Jones ETF, 212%. I also see Etsy, FedEx is extremely low today. But Google 124%, Meta 110%, Netflix 157%. That is fantastic. Netflix earnings is next Tuesday, so Netflix potentially has a good run from now until early Tuesday. Nvidia 138%, QQQ 177%. So when a stock moves bullishly with a big bullish hammer, and accompanied by volume over 100%, that gives me hope that the bullish continuation could happen tomorrow and the day after tomorrow or into next week. That said, I wouldn't be surprised if at the beginning of the day tomorrow, Tesla or the rest of the market will start out red a little bit before reversing again. So notice that trend and trend Q here is around 0.50 and 0.67. When trend is below 0.60, there is a 80% chance that the market will be red tomorrow. For how long, we don't know. But my speculation is at the beginning of the day tomorrow, it is possible that the market will turn red before reversing. So we have to keep a very close eye on it. Today is not a slam dunk reversal, and that doesn't mean that we will see reversal for days to come. But there is hope given the price action and the volume. And for Tesla in particular, I think if it ends the day tomorrow with the green bullish hammer for the week, coupled with the volume, that is reason for potentially celebration this weekend. Let's take a look at some of my favorite stocks. We have Amazon here. So this is the weekly chart. Amazon, even though it has been moving down quite a bit, it is holding support pretty strongly, and support zone is between 103 and 108. So right now it is at 112, but today's low was pretty low as well. So Amazon, there is a bullish divergence on the RSI on the weekly chart, so I think reversal is imminent. Of course, we don't know if it's tomorrow, next week, or 2 weeks from now, but it is pretty imminent given this chart pattern. Let's take a look at the daily chart. So 50 days SMA right now is 127, and 200 days SMA is 134. Today is also bullish engulfing. The low of the day was 105.63. That's pretty dangerously low. Once again, it dipped into this support zone that I have here. And with earnings coming in next week, it could potentially run for a little bit leading into earnings. Actually, earnings is not until October 27. We know that with high interest rate, it is not necessarily a no-brainer that corporate earnings will be great. In fact, given the macroeconomics environment that we're potentially having a recession with high interest rate, high inflation, corporate earnings might not be at its best compared to the last 2 years. But Amazon, in my mind, is a fundamentally good company, and so I will continue to buy this company for months to come, especially when it is within the support level like this. Even on the daily chart, notice there's an RSI divergence. So the price action is going down, RSI has been going up. So both on the weekly and the daily, Amazon has an RSI divergence. So once again, the reversal is fairly imminent in my mind. Next, let's take a look at Google. So for those of you that know my investment philosophy and the fact that I'm pretty risk tolerant, know that Google is a cash equivalent for me. Google and Apple are essentially cash equivalent. And what I mean by that is that they are extremely safe investment. The companies has great fundamentals. They have lots of money on their balance sheet, and they have a great business model that can continue to thrive for years to come. So yes, Google has been beaten up pretty badly as well together with the rest of the technology market, but I do think that Google is a very good long-term investment. So for that reason, any cash equivalent allocation that I have, I will allocate to buy Google. Tesla is, of course, a little bit more risky. The balance sheet is not as strong as Google or Apple, but I think that Tesla will get up there within a short amount of time. And in the next 3 to 5 years, I would be willing to bet that Tesla would be one of the most stable company out there that you can invest in. Now is a really good opportunity to invest in the stock market overall because it has been moving down pretty drastically. So the downside risk, in my opinion, is far outweighed by the upside potential. So back to Google here. Once again, complete U-turn today, bullish engulfing, a little bit of divergence on the daily. Google's 50 days SMA is 107.88 and 200 days SMA is 120. Considering that it is a sub 100 right now, it has quite a bit to go. And it could potentially take its time before going back up there, but I think that it's reasonable that it would get back up there within the next few weeks. Hopefully, the earnings could be a propellant, but we don't know that for a fact until next week. NVIDIA. So NVIDIA, one of my favorite of all time, has been beaten up pretty badly. The low of today was 108, and fortunately it has reversed with a major bullish engulfing as well. And the 50 days SMA right now is at 147. So NVIDIA has a long way to go. Almost all stocks are trading below 50 days SMA right now, which is very bearish. And when the 50 days SMA is below the 200 days SMA line, that is extremely bearish right now. The bearish sentiment could continue, but the downside risk, once again, is not as great, right? We could see 100% return from here, but the downside risk might just be 10 to 20%. That's entirely my opinion. That's why I think it's still a good time to buy. Rivian, surprisingly, didn't have a whole lot of volume today, only 78%. Shopify, my favorite to trade today, it did a moderate U-turn, not as steep as some other ones, but it is definitely also bullish for today. And lastly, let's take a look at the 10-year treasury. So this morning when the market was going terrible, extremely red, the 10-year treasury was spiking up to 40.4, which is the highest point for a long time. So the 10-year treasury typically a good indicator for the mortgage rate, but it is also a good way to see where the stock market would be heading. Usually the stock market is the exact opposite of the TNX, which is a 10-year treasury. So if you look at the daily chart here, if you notice all other stock has a bullish engulfing, the 10-year treasury has a rejection at 40.8. So right now it is looking a little bearish, but not entirely bearish. We're going to want to see tomorrow. So it made a recent high at 39.75. And then today was higher than the recent high. So we'll have to wait to see if this is the double top or whether it is making a higher high, which can be very miserable for the real estate market as well as equity, which is the stock market. So coming back to Tesla, once again, I just want to let you guys know how excited I am to see the earnings result for next week. And the fact that Tesla is trading at very low level right now, which is, in my mind, cause for celebration, because if any one of you who have missed the last bull run in 2020, I'm having a strong feeling that the next bull run is very near here. And once that bull run happens, your investment could be making major returns. Once again, I'm not a financial advisor, so take it with a grain of salt. Do not go out there and bet the farm on Tesla, in my opinion, but it is definitely one of the heavier stocks holdings in my portfolio. So this is it for this video. Thank you very much for paying attention thus far, and I hope that you find the information helpful. Feel free to subscribe to my channel if that's the case. Leave me a comment down below, and I will get back to you as soon as I can. Until the next video, bye!